is they don't have it. So what can we do? This is an example of what we can do. And I think from a feasible, I mean, if we do this as a 10-year plan, I mean, if you look at the fact that, God, how long ago was it now? 20 plus years ago, Jerry Jennings was saying we have to reconnect with our waterfront, and had the ridiculous idea to bury 787. And now you have the Skyway built and people talking about burying 787. Well, if you're willing to wait 20 years to build a bridge, why not take 10 years to build a network? And given the return on that kind of investment, on the type of investment that has been seen, you're going to make a lot more money than building a concrete bridge to the river. With all due respect, both are important, but this one will actually bring in a considerable amount of income, aka possible additional tax revenue to the city. And last time I checked, we were looking for a way to get some tax relief.
Can you say those numbers again for the live stream?
Sure. The city of Chattanooga, Tennessee, made a $220 million investment across a 10-year period to create their network, and then maintain it and expand on it. And say the return that they've seen on that is a total of $2.7 billion back into the community, directly related to that investment. So basically, you're talking pennies on the dollar to reap billions to flood into the city in terms of jobs, tax revenue, and tax revenue. The city of Chattanooga is more than twice our size. They're just about twice our size. There are 171,000 people. We're half that. So our cost might not be as big, but we do have to look at current costs versus prior costs. Certainly things cost more now.
The whole county would be about that, right?
The whole county would be about that, yeah. So you could potentially do a countywide solution, which would serve the rural communities, which are currently not served well or at all, and see the same type of return. Like Chattanooga, we're a center for tech and innovation. We're a center for government. We're a center for quite a few colleges. So those key parts that make up the community are a good mirror. It's a good match. So we can look at, could we achieve that type of success here? Yes. Would it require a true commitment to creating an authority which would run it, maintain it, and keep it moving forward, and keep it moving forward? Yes. But we've done it before. We did it with the water department. We've done it with the Answers Consortium with trash. Basically, broadband right now is a utility like water, power, and light. So if we manage it in those terms, it could be very good for our community. So with that said, just to get into a little bit of business here, Diana, I know that you weren't on. Caitlin won't be here tonight, but she will be at the meeting on Thursday.
Okay.
She's doing a lot better, but she came down
Great.
with COVID. And the good news is she's just about past it, but still on top of it. So she feels better enough that she thinks that she will be here Thursday night.
Oh, good. Yes.
Okay. So I just want to talk a little bit. I was hoping Martin would join. I wasn't sure about Josh and Ed.
Greg, I don't know if you saw, but Martin emailed the group and said he is stuck in another meeting, won't be able to join tonight.
No, it's fine. So if you could just share with him what we talk about here, planning for Thursday. I think that's the most important part. So Dan, I saw that you got a response from Brad.
Correct, yes.
And he suggested trying to set up a call with the contractor, with the people that the contract with. Depending on when we want to set that up, I would think if it's this week, I won't be here, but we could set up if Jeff's available with you and Jeff, or if it's next week or sometime a little later than that, I will be back. And we can start.
Okay, yeah. So then I would like to go ahead and like try to coordinate it based on your Jeff's availability, because then I can make myself available then. Oh, I don't have my calendar nearby. What day of the week next week? Probably like after Tuesday or Wednesday.
I would say I'd say towards middle of the week. Jess,
Okay.
if you're available, I'd like you there for that too.
Sure.
Okay, Luke, I don't know if you want to sit in on that or not, but you can if you want to. That's the GIS. That's the meeting with the GIS contractor to talk about the layers.
Probably a good idea. If I do, I have done some GIS in the past. I just don't have a current setup, so I have not been able to volunteer to put the shape files together, but I have at least used it and made maps in the past.
Great.
So I might be helpful.
It would be valuable, yeah.
Great, yes.
Okay.
So let's see if we can find a time that works for them, works for us.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Any particular set of hours that works best?
Mine are pretty flexible. I know that the rest of you work and have jobs and do businesses, so I will defer to what works best for all of you. I mean, barring a medical appointment or a medical emergency, I'll be back next week and I'll be there. So
if it's 9 to 5, I can make it work.
Okay. Is that the same with you, Jess?
I mean, realistically, I'm open to doing it at this time as well. So,
okay.
But my work schedule is such that I can cut out a block of time for a meeting.
Cool.
Yeah, likewise.
All right. Jeff, is there a particular day that works for you better?
It's hard to say. It really depends week to week. But if if you want to go ahead and schedule around Craig's schedule and Luke, and if I'm able to join, then I obviously will. If not, you're in good hands with those two.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then Jess as well. Jess, is there a particular day or time that works better for you that wouldn't conflict with what you've got going on?
So 9 to 5 would be preferred. But I mean, pretty much anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Great.
Let's make note of that.
All right. And Dave, I'm not sure if you were CC'd on it or not, but just got responses from Paul from the water department and
Yes, I see those.
Trudeau. They had some ideas of who else to reach out to. It just floors me that no one, given the fact the city bought the light poles, we don't know where they are. We don't have a map of where they are, I guess. Someone has to have a map. God, I hope so. So we'll keep plugging away at this.
Yeah, and then this makes it this justifies us using the consultant.
Provided that we can get
in
the
a sense.
funds approved, yeah, that's going to be the key. Worst case scenario we do is we make a recommendation to the city that if they do move forward, that they acquire it. That's the
Right.
shortcut for us. Really, our core job is to report to them on what we think the feasibility is. And along with that is, okay, if you do A versus B, it's going to be more or less feasible. That's what they're really looking for, was the impression that I got. I spoke to Woosu briefly this past week. And we were talking about the timing. End of month is fine, by the way, despite what you heard in the hearing. And we will be getting supposedly a new person, Bill Duffy, but I believe they're waiting on him to get approval from the state, from his job at the state, to be able to join us. It sounds like he has a very good tech background. So I'll be intrigued to see what he brings to the table. And when
Right.
when we get him, I would not expect him before we filed this report, but he could be very valuable as we move ahead, trying to draft the final report. Just to revisit that, so that folks know, from the time we file the preliminary report, we have 150 days to work on the final report, and then the commission would last, at least at this point, for an additional 6 months from there, in case a thing came up, they want us to weigh in on research, etc. That's the way the legislation that created the commission is written now. And I reviewed that with Chief as well. So I think, we have some basic things in place. We have your piece day, we have Martin's piece, we have Jeff's piece. If Caitlin's back and we can get her to come up, and she has the ability and the strength to come up with something regarding the type of legislation that they'd need, that would be valuable. That can be brief. My initial concern, let's call it that, was that in reviewing reports of commissions that I've seen from different communities, usually they're in the neighborhood of 80 plus pages long. They're very thorough, very detailed. Ours right now would be less than 20. Now that's not a problem, because what we're looking at that they put out are the final reports. But I think it gives us a sense of where we need to go, and do they want us to go? And that'll be part of the feedback that we ask from the Common Council and the mayor.
Yeah, that's what I would like to know as well. Like how nitty gritty and technical can we get? Because I know you and Jeff specified that we should try to put it as much as in layman terms as we can.
Right. And I think that's true.
Sometimes, some things really just do need to speak to the engineering and all that. So especially for my group,
right?
You can only water it down so much.
Exactly. So I mean, the fact is, there's a difference between the report and presentations we may make about the report. So the presentations may be more layman's terms. Keep it high level. If we're going to ask the question, certainly we can get into greater detail. But I think when we start to think about the finalized report, we really need to think about, okay, what else do we need to add
to really flesh it out?
Yeah. And the other thing to think about is basically, if you look at the group that we started with and where we're at now, and we have a great group now, we've lost some people, and they finally replaced one. We have at least two that I can think of that we could use more. But the problem is, like everybody else, no one has time. So I think that's one of the things we need to think about too as we move forward. Do we need them to push a little more to try and recruit? Would they like us to assist with that recruitment to get more people on the commission to fill the vacancies? That may be something that we address in the recommendations as well. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to shift to Jeff a little bit. Jeff, do you want to just talk a little bit about Thursday? I mean, really, it's just you, me, and Day. Jess and Luke, you'll be there if you want to be, but it's going to be mainly just the team leads and So without Martin here, without Caitlin here, it's going to be a very quick discussion. We'll just talk a little bit about what you want to do for Thursday.
Yeah, I'm Craig. I'm thinking just taking a look at the sections we have, kind of giving them the cursory overlook as a group, and just identify any glaring sections or instances where what was drafted clearly does not have the unified voice we spoke about, or it's just really some sort of outlier that we want to correct immediately.
Right.
So I don't think, for the sake of brevity, we want to get too much into the weeds in each section.
Mhm.
But I'll take a look. I'll even take a look at before, and hopefully identify anything beforehand so that we can just kind of talk about it and which way we need to go from there. That was my thoughts. If you have any other suggestions on where we should go from there.
I think that's good. I said I did take a look through what you had sent. Dan, I'm not sure if you commented on Jeff's stuff at all. The stuff that Jeff sent out last week.
Yeah, I read it.
Great. Okay. So I would think pretty much, Jeff, you should have the feedback, at least from the group so far. I don't know if Caitlin's had a chance to read it, but it looked pretty good. I think there were one or two very minor points that I made a comment and I put up on the doc for you.
Yeah, and I have some other ideas I actually just jotted down as we were on the meeting. So I think it'll still be evolving a bit as we push towards the end of the month deadline. But thank you for taking a look for the feedback.
Great. All right. Dan, was there anything else you wanted to bring up? Any questions?
No, I'll be following up with Brad and trying to coordinate
The
a
meeting?
good time that we all can attend together. Yes. And then actually ask Martin, would he like to join as well, since he's a part of like the model group and the financial group as well?
Definitely. Jess, do you want to reach out to Rachel to see if she wants to be part of that meeting?
Sure, I can do that.
Because I know, if it's going to be talking about costs, she may want a heads up as to what those costs might be.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll reach out to her.
And I'd say include Owusu as well.
Okay,
Because if they need the city council to weigh in with a request, he's our point person there. So
okay,
he may want to sit in on that as well. All right.
okay.
All right. That's really what I had so far. Unless anyone has anything else that they'd like to bring up, we can wrap this up. Good. Okay. All right. We don't have quorum, so don't need a motion to close this things out. So with that said, thank you very much for your time. Have a great week. And see, I'll try and touch base Thursday if I can. I don't know what this week can look like yet because I will not be in town. So beyond that, I will see you folks next week, if not sooner. All right.
All right.
Take care. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.